How was Milan?
Right, Milan.
Yes.
Very materialistic city.
All about Gucci, Prada.
All about it. All about it. The shops. You see many shops, right, which just have a shoe in it. You know, shop fronts with like just a shoe, like art gallery style.
Oh,
so
really?
and it was heaving. Very, very busy.
Wow.
Surprisingly, very difficult to find a proper restaurant.
Wow.
Coffee
Is it
shop.
all about shopping then?
What? Yeah, I mean,
it's all materialistic and shopping.
what do you mean proper restaurant? Like there was no restaurants at all, or
Like,
were
a
the
lot of
restaurants that they weren't good?
Yeah,
Which is weird.
well, it was filled with shops. It was the center was, and then when you try to go to like the restaurant-y place, it's mainly coffee shops, and they're like you, Sento. They eat on their time scale, right? So apparently, it's more of an evening.
Italians, not as much. Nah, definitely not as much as Spaniards, though.
Not as much.
At least not in Florence. When I was in Florence, they were having lunch around 12 o'clock. We usually have it around 1:30, 2. And dinner, they were having around 7:30, 8. And we usually have 9:30, 10, 10:30, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we just found it difficult to find food.
Yeah.
The food was nice when you find it, right? But it was quite a
next
very
time
unplanned trip.
go. I reckon I haven't been there. It's on my list. Naples, mate, home of pizza.
Yeah,
That's where pizza started, isn't it?
Well, this
There's
is
bound
what
to be pizza place after pizza place there, isn't it?
This is what I said to Freya. If we go back, we'll go more southern Italy because near the Alps.
Completely different, you know.
Was it cold?
Yeah. It was no. It's like UK is now, so it's
mild.
okay. Get a little chilly, but we've got everywhere by train as well. Cheap, cheap. But yeah, it was good. It was good, but it was unplanned. You know, if we planned it, I'd have gone to the San Siro. I would have gone to that AC Milan game. Couldn't get tickets.
Oh.
Couldn't get tickets. AC Milan, Fiorentina.
And you bought the Inter Milan t-shirt and everything for it, right?
Home of Ronaldinho's AC Milan and FT. Home of some absolute legends. And I was minutes away. Didn't go. But it was nice. It was a nice little city break.
Yeah.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah, well. Anyway, well, I guess we can all quickly bring to the forefront of our memories a near-death experience that has got a, it might have just like it might not have been a close shave, but maybe, for example, if you were driving a bit too quick in a car. Like one of mine, for example, was in my college days, I'd pile into a 3-door Vauxhall Corsa, and I wasn't in control of the car. I was in the back seat, piled in on a one of them bench seats, 3 people in a Corsa. It was a bit of a squish. And obviously from behind, if you were looking, you would have thought it was a car full of yobs because all you would have seen was 5 bobbing heads in a small hatchback. And the person in charge of the car, his name was Tom, but I won't give the surname, was a bit of a madman at that age. He didn't really have much to restrain him. So we'd be going down one-way country lanes, round blind corners, doing 60 miles an hour plus, which was, if you drive now, which I do occasionally, it's unthinkable.
It's uneasy.
But when you're not in control of the car and you're just in the back, like screaming, I guess you're not really. Now, me and Sam actually have a friend called Connor who was involved in a car crash, and they rolled the car. Do you remember that story?
It was unbelievable.
They weren't in control of the car again, like I wasn't, but they were in the back seat and the car rolled.
They all got up and just walked out, didn't they?
Yeah, they were all fine. But my other experience quickly would be again with the same kid Tom, and you get an example of why I don't want to give you a surname on the podcast. He's every sort of near-death experience I have, he's sort of involved in some capacity. It was the summer, and we live near the sea on the south coast. Now, if you live near the sea somewhere in a country, you might know that sometimes you come across this muddy sludge that is almost like quicksand, and it sucks you in. It's like suction cup, like you can't get your legs out, sort of thing. Now, we went kayaking out to sea on a windy day without life jackets, and the wind was really strong, and we got sort of blown out into this big estuary, sort of this big, body of water, and it was getting a bit out of control. So we were sort of shouting over to each other, like, just go in for land, and we'll try and walk to shore. and the tide was going out as well, so we were getting swept out. And we managed to get to shore, but it was very far away from the actual path. So we got out of the kayak and it was sludge up to my knees. And if I didn't have the kayak to lay my body weight on, I probably wouldn't have got out. And people have lost their lives in that sludge because if you get stuck in it and the tide comes in, obviously you're going to drown. It takes us about an hour and a half to get back to shore. We then, covered in mud, walked back, with the kayaks. I think we actually left the kayaks and we just started walking back. So we left our shoes way back at the shore. And then one of Tom's friends comes running out down the path. And I'm like, oh, it's funny to see him here. What's he doing? And he goes, bloody hell, like, your dad's looking for you. Took him to Tom because I'm not in my sort of area. I'm 20 minutes away down the road where Tom lives. And Tom's dad's quite involved in the sailing sort of club in that local area. And he'd called the local Coast Guard and sent a message out to all the local boats because they hadn't seen us. And he knew we hadn't taken the life jackets. So when we finally walked all the way back and saw Tom's dad, he luckily didn't say anything to me because, I'm not his son. But he didn't half lay into Tom. Swearing at him, saying he should have known better and all that because Tom had done sailing, no life jackets. Yeah, that's my couple of them for me there. So, anyone else want to?
I mean, a fair few come to mind. To be fair,
Jesus, near-death experiences.
most of them involve early driving days. To be honest with you, and I mean, one of the most prominent that comes to mind involves you as well, George.
Yeah, I think I remember this one.
I can't. Well, there's a few I can think of, to be fair, but I can't remember what sort of event it was. I think I'd just passed my test.
In the Citroen.
I was in my Citroen C2, and you and you're up.
I feel like if I'm thinking of the right one as
you were up. You were sharing with your sister.
But I was in your car. If I'm thinking of a.
No. I'm thinking of this was one of the first weeks that I passed my test, and you were in your up that you were sharing with your sister at the time.
Yeah.
And you said, "Come meet you in Goodwood."
Okay.
And Goodwood is our sort of local area, and it's nice to drive around sometimes. But so he sends me a text saying, "Come meet me in Goodwood." So I'm like, "Yeah, cool. Let's go in my car." And then he starts hiding. He says, "Come meet me here," and he hides round the corner somewhere. And I'm looking for him. Like, where are you? I drive past where he's hiding, and then he starts following me. But I didn't know it was him. So on this dark, woody 60-mile-an-hour road, you just overtake me at like 80 miles an hour, and I'm all confused, not knowing what's going on. And then I think you called me or something, so that was me following me, and I'm like, right, okay, no idea what's going on. Driving for a week. We then drive into the top of Goodwood called the Trundle, and there's some roadworks in the road, and I'm sort of like, I'm a very new driver, and I try and avoid these roadworks on the other side of the road, and I don't pull in fast enough, and I know. It could have been a disaster. That's a prominent memory.
Yeah.
But there's many involved in the car. I've nearly rolled a car with you.
That's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of we'd been to the casino and we probably lost a small amount of money, but at the time it seemed substantial.
My rent money.
I don't know if it was that time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I took the cash out to pay my mum rent, and went to the casino. I'll only spend 20 quid. Half hour later, 300 quid's gone.
Yeah.
It was a half-hour trip to the casino, and I think you said later on that it was the quietest and most uncomfortable journey.
I was scared to get in the car because I knew that you were pissed that you just lost like a month's rent in half an hour. And if it was the same time that I'm thinking of, we went round a corner that was probably like 30 mile an hour zone quite quickly, for about 50 miles an hour or something, and we power slide, where all four wheels slide across the road, and we just stopped before we hit the curb, where we probably would have rolled if we hit the curb. But yeah, that was another one. And another one that we had was in the Astro, wasn't it? I think where we were up on some wet grass.
Goodwood again.
Yeah, and you tried to brake, and the car just kept sliding, and we just ploughed into a wooden bench.
Jesus.
So yeah, quite a few. Sento, do you have any?
Those ones all involve a car.
Near death experience. I don't know. I mean, probably. One of my biggest scares, I'd say, like what happened to me, it was actually also in the car.
Yeah.
I was motorway 120 kilometers an hour, and it was a curve. So it was quite a big curve. It was not a harsh curve, so you didn't lower your speed, but quite a big one, so you couldn't see what it was at the end. And at the end, in the middle lane, there was 3 lanes. There was a car stopped with hazard lights on.
Oh.
And a girl, and I was going in the middle. Like, I had to, wow. I remember being again so nervous, just seeing this car stop coming at me 120. Well, I was going at it 120 kilometers per hour. Like, I just pressed my brakes to the max, put hazards. Slap my brakes, put hazard, so the guy that was coming from the back knew like something was going on, and try. I actually had to avoid it. I had to like move to the left lane. Luckily, there was no car by my side on that moment. So if there was someone over there, I would have crashed it because I instantly.
You just moved, don't you?
Yeah, I moved. I steered to the left instantly because if not, I would have crashed with the car.
Yeah. And on the other end of that, George has been the car that's been stuck.
Sento, I my car was that car, and I was stood on the side of the road watching people doing what you're doing, swerving.
Yeah, wow. I don't know if it was near.
Was yours at night time? Was yours at night time?
No, it was a day though.
Mine was at night time as well.
Yeah, it was easier to see the car at least.
And my car didn't have enough battery to have hazard lights. My car didn't have hazard lights on. It was sat in the dark, no lights.
Jesus.
Yeah. But I think, the moral of the story here, listeners, is pretty much every story we've given is involved a car. Now, I don't know about you guys, but now when I drive, compared to me when I was 17, 18, when I first passed my test, I don't drive erratically at all, to be honest. I feel like I've done that and I got away with it.
I agree. I was thinking this the other day. So obviously I've got a baby on the way.
Yes.
And I was thinking they've got to go through all of those scenarios and hopefully be as lucky as me.
Yeah.
Or
because it is luck, isn't it? I mean, some of the stuff that happens in cars is when you first pass your test.
It's ridiculous.
I've never driven erratically though, so
no.
I've always liked to drive a little bit fast though, but not very fast, like 10, 15 kilometers a month.
But this is the thing, right? As well. So in Italy, when we were in Milan the other day,
Italy's mad on that sense.
The Italians drive. They're mental.
Yeah, they're mental.
But they're all mental.
They take Mario Kart to a whole new level, don't they?
They take.
Well, how was crossing roads in Milan?
Well, crossing roads was very interesting, right? Because apparently, I feel like the pedestrian had the right of way. There's zebra crossings almost everywhere where you start walking, they've got to stop.
Yeah, in Italy they just don't. So you have to be brave and just cross the road, and then
you just start walking.
Will stop. But if you don't, cars will never stop for you.
Yeah. You've just got to start walking out in front of them, and I'm like, whoa, Freya heavily pregnant, and I'm like, we just got to walk, and then they'll stop.
Wow. Well, quite a deep way to start a podcast still, and like I said, if anyone is listening and you realise we are all talking about car stories, learn from our mistakes, and please drive carefully.
Yes,
you can never be too careful in a car. Where you see, I've never not worn a seatbelt. I've always worn my seatbelt.
Mm-hmm.
That's a generational thing, though. I think.
Yeah, I think
cars don't let you not wear your seatbelt anymore.
I have had, the Kia Picanto didn't mind if I didn't wear a seatbelt. I was speaking to my girlfriend about that car last night. Actually, I do miss that car because you could reach its limits very easily. Now this is going back again to the days of driving erratically. But the car I've got a Corrado now with a VR6 engine, and if there's 2 reasons I'm never going to get it to its limits. One, I think it's at the moment I haven't proper refurbished it, whatever you want to call it. I've not, restored it, and it's obviously 30 years old in January, so there's bound to be some parts that are going to fail if it's driven to its limits. And also just because, like I said, it's dangerous. Now, in a straight line, I do like to put my foot down a bit every now and again, but that's about it. Maybe I'll drive into a corner at a brisk speed, but within the speed limit, safely within the speed limit.
He's gone from a British yobbo to Alan Partridge in 30 seconds.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you have listened, please learn from our mistakes. Well, welcome to the Pixel Players Podcast, episode 11, hosted by myself, George, or at FevanOverNFT on Twitter.
Sento or at @ratpinner_ on Twitter.
Sam or Skipper NFT on Twitter.
And they're all joining us at roughly 10 to 8 on a Thursday evening. The World Cup starts in 3 days. The Premier League has finished for the winter, pretty well until near enough the new year. I think we kick off again on Boxing Day with a few games. And we're here today to pretty much discuss the last weekend of domestic football. But before we do that, let me just remind you, we have just dropped our PixelKits collection, all 64 kits from the upcoming World Cup, pixelated in retro fashion as usual. I must say, there's a few of them that I do very much like. Croatia away, Croatia at home, Spain away.
Indeed.
I quite like the England at home. I saw someone actually wearing the New England home kit the other day.
The second Argentina kit.
Yes,
really nice.
I've seen someone buy one of those as well. I really like that. Yeah.
Croatia, both the Croatian kits are nice. First and second.
There's a lot of tasty kits in there. And what we've done is we've introduced properties to these ones. It's a little bit easier than the Pixel Players to sort of introduce properties to allow you to siphon through kits through, categories like away or home, what tournament they're from. So this is from the World Cup 2022. So we're hoping, in 10 years, 20 years, when we're looking back at this World Cup, hopefully with sort of fond memories, we'll look back on the Pixel kits. They're all one of one, so there'll be no duplicates, and there'll be fond memories of them, and they'll bring back a few tears for a lucky person, maybe here, Spain, maybe to win the World Cup, England, who knows.
I think we both have a good shot, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. I think Spain are looking good. So
The thing with the World Cup is it's very easy to go out in the group stage. You play 3 games, right?
Yeah. Well, it's 3 weeks, pretty much 3 weeks of wall-to-wall football starting Sunday, because it takes 3 weeks to get through the group stages. So it's multiple games a day for 3 weeks, pretty much, until the knockouts. But before we get into the excitement of the World Cup, which we're all struggling to do so because we've all been watching documentaries or TV programs about the World Cup, which we'll discuss in a later episode, maybe the next episode, perhaps. Probably actually we will, because it's the preview of the World Cup. But I think before we do get into the excitement and allow ourselves to get into the World Cup fever, we need to, nicely tuck into bed the Premier League and the Liga action that happened on the weekend. Now, as we said, it's Thursday. It's taken us a while to get round to it. I think I've needed to come to terms with what's happened. Not sure about Sento's situation too much. They had quite a good weekend. It was not a weekend, was it? You played Thursday.
For Valencia, yeah. La Liga-wise, it was pretty boring week. But Valencia, we had, very, very good day.
But so we're going to jump pretty much straight into that. But the mid-season review, that's what we're going to call this episode, probably, because it's almost mid-season. We're having a 5-week break from Premier League football, and that actually makes me quite excited. I think absence here is going to make the heart grow fonder. Football is going to return on Boxing Day, the festive period, and that goes hand in hand, doesn't it? Sort of Premier League football and Christmas. So I'm excited for the return. There's a lot of pressure on certain teams, such as Arsenal, to perform straight off the bat. I think their first game back is West Ham at home, so that could be tough. But so we're going to sort of get into a mid-season sort of review for this episode. So we'll touch upon the results with the biggest implications, including Man City giving Arsenal a 5-point lead by losing at home to Brentford. Potter still can't seem to cast a spell over his squad, losing 1-0 in a crucial away fixture to top 4 rivals Newcastle, who gave a very accomplished performance to a bustling home crowd in the northeast. Spurs came from behind to beat Leeds 4-3, still managing to string results together despite constantly conceding leads early. How long can that last? Arsenal extending their lead, as we said, beating Wolves away from home with a Martin Odegaard double, a fantastic captain's performance. And elsewhere in the race for European spots, Brighton lost away to Aston Villa, denting De Zerbi's sort of hopes and dreams on Sunday, whilst Man United grabbed a last-minute winner thanks to their young Argentine star, Garnacho. So the order of discussion will be City, Tottenham, Newcastle, Wolves and Fulham. So starting with City then. The first game of the weekend.
Well, interesting that
they threw it away.
Yeah.
It was rough. It was utterly rough for them. And, considering they're going into the World Cup,
with a
5
lot
points
of players,
behind Arsenal.
except Haaland, pretty much.
Except Haaland. But I mean, they go to the World Cup 5 points behind Arsenal, and they come back and they've got to play Liverpool in the EFL Cup.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Liverpool being their bogey team. That's pretty crazy, yeah. And if they lose to Liverpool in the EFL Cup again, well, where does that leave them for the rest of the season?
It's less fixtures to play. But the thing is with City is I didn't think they played well at all against Brentford. I think Brentford actually deserved the result. I think Brentford played better than City. They sat in tight, and when they countered, they countered effectively.
City were all over the place. I spoke with a City fan today, and they said exactly the same thing. They said they didn't deserve to win.
No. Yeah. And
Ivan Toney, bagging the win. I mean, he's got his own controversies.
Yeah, going on with the betting scandal, but that was I think he put his fingers in his ears as a celebration, didn't he? As sort of, I'm not listening to whatever's, I guess Gareth Southgate's opinion, which obviously he's not good enough. But whether Gareth Southgate knew about these betting allegations, we don't know before. But I thought, the way City played when I can't remember who it was now. Was it Wolves before they played and they beat 1-0 thanks to a penalty in the last minute? I'm just going to quickly check.
Fulham.
That was it. 2-1. That was
a little bit of stats for you. Right now, City is second in the league, but it's 5 points away from Arsenal, who's top, but 6 points away from Europa League. So actually, I don't know. Like Arsenal,
this season's very open.
Arsenal, I don't know. Arsenal have now the key to keep pushing. Yeah. And if they do, maybe they get away with the title and City gets into the fight of the top 4, because the second position to fifth position, 6 points, anything can happen up there too.
Yeah, but Erling Haaland's not going to go to the World Cup, so I'm sure he'll be fine. But I was going to say with the Fulham game, Kevin De Bruyne really dragged City through that game, and you kind of were thinking that that's what's going to happen, but he couldn't seem to do it against Brentford, and it's a massive blow for City. Like we say, to give a 5-point gap to Arsenal at this point, with all these players going to a Cup, we say we don't know what's going to happen at the World Cup in terms of injuries and whether any players will be injured. But there's a lot still to sort of be tested in terms of Arsenal as well. If we talk about the fact that Arsenal probably will need signings in January to ensure that, because their starting 11 is good, but the drop off on the bench, Eddie Nketiah is probably not fit to carry on from Jesus if Jesus got injured. So I think January is a big transfer window for a lot of teams. I think you're going to see Arsenal wanting to strengthen, probably Tottenham. Conte is going to probably be barking down on the phone to Levy all month, wanting to strengthen at Spurs, especially at right back position. Newcastle are probably going to be looking to spend some more of their money that they've got. Chelsea are in a transitional phase, so they're going to be looking to probably maybe offload a player, maybe bring in a player or two. Man United are still building, so they're probably going to want to look to add to their squad. Liverpool might want to add a midfielder.
I was thinking Liverpool. I don't know. That's difficult. If they go through the transition of selling the club quick, maybe. But if not, will they invest anything to buy new players? No. So they will try to.
Yeah, well, they're for sale.
Liverpool with the money the club has itself.
Yeah.
So,
quite uncertain for Liverpool. Yeah, but in terms of City, though, I think this is a big blow for them. But the way City do it, they do tend to prefer a team being in front. As a Chelsea fan, that gives me confidence because I don't want Arsenal winning the league. City they're like sharks. They like to smell blood. They don't want to really be leading the pack too early. I mean, they have done that and they have steamrolled their way to the league. But I think City take a lot of pride in the way they can click into gear once things get hairy.
They
Arsenal
can
haven't done that yet.
consistently- Yeah, I mean, City can consistently bang out results. I mean, I can't remember if it was. I think it was the season before last, and it was where Man City had to win the last 10 games or so in a row.
Yeah.
And they just kept getting win.
Yeah. They
And
broke the
Liverpool
record, didn't they?
played-
I think it was 15
Yeah.
wins in a row or something.
And it was ridiculous because they were just quietly bagging these wins.
Yeah.
But so 2022 match week 16. I think match week 16 this year is a bit skewed because of the postponed games.
Yeah.
But,
and that's another thing, though. Arsenal and City have both games to play. So 5-point gap. But if City beat both, Arsenal both times, they're top.
But Arsenal have to play Man City and Arsenal have to play. Who else do they have to play? Is it?
Well, for everyone. They've only played everyone once, right? So.
But
A little
City
bit of predictions for the
City have to play Tottenham and Arsenal as their game in hand.
a
Both
little
those
bit of
games.
predictions for the Arsenal City. If the Arsenal City was going to be played tomorrow,
Are
what do you reckon it would win?
2-0 Man City.
Is
It's a tough one. It's a real tough one. 'Cause
It
I
is
think
a tough
Arsenal
one.
would give it
that's
a
what we
really
like.
good go.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's what I want. That's not what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
But anyway, so comparing game week 16 to this time last year, Man City were on 38 points. They're on 32 at the moment, and Liverpool were on 37, and Arsenal are on 37 at the moment.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's been an amazing start. First half. Well, it's not halfway, is it? That's the deceiving thing. By Christmas, most teams who are obviously top are most likely to win the league statistically. But we've only played, was it 14 games so far? Or is it
14, yeah.
Yeah. So normally it's around 20. So, you could say that it's almost a red herring at the moment.
Yeah. It's even more of a red herring.
But
doing it in November.
The history is also not in Arsenal's favour. So City can, although they've lost to Brentford, and we're all thinking maybe players are restraining themselves, but a lot of professionals are saying that wouldn't be happening at all. But I think the World Cup was definitely, it must be playing a factor in their minds. It must be. I know that they're professionals in that, but I'm not sure. I think once the players get back, this whole narrative could change. Like I said, history is not on Arsenal's side now. I think there was a statistic that came out where it said Arsenal, the last 5 times they were top at Christmas, haven't won the league. There's another one that came out, or a fact that came out that I saw, and I think it was a 2009 season. There were 9 games to go, and Arsenal were 6 points clear, and they threw it away. So there's a big chunk of this season left to go. And what a mad season it's been. Like Sento was saying, the gap between City to the top to the Europa League spots is 5 points to Europa League or something. And
5 points
you've got
to
Chelsea
top
down in
and 6 to
8th.
Europa.
You've got Liverpool down in sort of in Europa League or just outside Europa League positions. Fulham, Brighton are all in the mixer. Newcastle haven't got European football and they're looking really strong. So it's a really interesting
They will
league.
do this year.
Yeah. I'm really excited for it to return.
Even the relegation positions are very interesting.
Yeah.
Seeing Wolves at the bottom, I would have never expected
But
that.
they've now got Lopetegui.
Yeah, Lopetegui. Jesus.
Yeah.
But Wolves have always had a decent squad.
Yeah, and they still have a decent squad.
Yeah, Guedes, Neto, Ruben Neves.
Yeah, Ruben Neves is fantastic.
Yeah. He could have a good World Cup and end up sort of waggling himself a transfer in January because I think there's going to be a lot of business in January. I think we could see a big January.
I don't know January, but definitely this summer. This is it. This is the last year, I think, of Ruben Neves at Wolves.
The thing is, I think why we might see a lot of activity in January is because, like we're saying, the league is so open. Man United, Chelsea, Spurs, Liverpool won't want to be resting on their laurels. They're going to be quite anxious that this season's been so mad up to now that anything can happen. So they're going to want to do anything they can to try and bolster their chances or boost their chances rather of making that top 4. Because right now, as a Chelsea fan, and we'll get onto the Chelsea game in a minute, I'm not confident. So yeah, maybe we should move on from City because we'll probably return to that sort of discussion around the title when we get on to the Arsenal Wolves game. But Tottenham Leeds. Now, Sam, I'm guessing you watched this game.
I did, and it was an enjoyable game. I mean, I was in Milan at the time.
Yes, that's why I sort of was quite tentative to ask if you watched it. You were on holiday sunning yourself in Milan.
Yeah. But so I only caught the second half. But what a second half that was. I mean, it was a very back and forth game.
Were you walking around Milan checking the first half scores?
Yeah, when you
Yeah,
see
I
a
was.
4-3 on the score, usually it's a very back and forth.
Well, I saw us 2-1 down first half, and that's when I was then getting texts from you two, or saying Rodrigo's doing us dirty, an ex-Valencia player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was.
What a game! And what a game! Jesus.
4-3, yeah.
It was.
What a player, not what a game. Sorry, what a player.
Well, both. What a player, what a
And
game.
also, yeah, and what a game.
But Bentancur sort of brings us out of the depths.
Again, he did it against Bournemouth as well, right?
Tottenham come behind. I think Bentancur is a new player at the moment. So when Richarlison, Kulusevski, and Son all got injured, Bentancur sort of got pushed forward and into a freer position, and he is a different player.
He looks like quite a good signing, doesn't he?
He's exciting.
Yeah. How old is he? He's quite young, is he? 24, 25?
He's tall. He's 24, 25.
Yeah.
But he's tall. He's a way that I've been described Bentancur is on the ball, and I sort of agree. He's like a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
It just flows.
Yeah, it does. He can shoot. He can shoot. He can pass. He can tackle.
He can
you
pick
said
the
he's
ball
tall,
up.
so he can get ahead on things, pick a ball up. Yeah, win a 1-on-1.
So Bentancur is very exciting. But off the back of that game, I mean, we won. Put it that way. That's all.
Yeah. So you don't think you deserved it? Would you say? Or?
I think I'm happy with the result, and I'm comfortable with it.
Does it leave you sort of anxious going forward, though? Are you sort of thinking this won't last forever? These sort of comebacks.
Well, we're not. We're not defensively in a decent position. I mean, we keep conceding.
Yeah.
I remember we had the podcast a few months ago, and I was saying Tottenham had barely conceded any goals. We conceded the least amount of goals in the Premier League alongside Newcastle.
And what do you reckon then? Is it the players at defense, or do you reckon it's a style Conte has done? I mean, defensively, it's not very solid right now.
I think a bit of both. I think maybe because we didn't have the attack, because we lost Kulusevski and Richarlison, our counter play, or the whole intention around the football didn't work. You know, we were sitting back with the intent to counter attack, and we couldn't counter attack, so we were just sitting back. And that just invited an onslaught. You know, but we need to do something. We need to do something defensively. You can't
something in January or something tactically.
Yeah, well, it's either that or.
And who is the main? When you're saying defensively, what sort of player are you? Hinting towards here?
Let's space it out a bit more. If you could change 3 players, what would be? Or what do you reckon it would be more needed right now?
Right, well, Conte and Emerson Royale's love affair needs to end.
Yeah.
Whatever's happening in the head needs to
Chicken
change.
Royale, yeah, Chicken Royale.
Emerson Royale, I mean, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. And my girlfriend, you know, she was a supporter of him.
All the fancy flicks and turns and all the little montages.
I think she felt sorry for him, to be honest, but he's just let us down.
Sympathy
every
vote.
time.
It's like an Anthony, but it's just not scoring or anything.
What he reminds me
turns,
of,
but that's it.
what he is like is Musa Sissoko in his early days.
Yeah,
he was the Tottenham joke. he became a decent player, but I remember Musa Sissoko taking a shot on goal against Barcelona, and the Tottenham fans went "Wee," because it was that bad. But so Musa Sissoko. So Emerson Royale needs to go. Eric Dyer. Does he? Yeah. Eric Dyer has
that mistake against Liverpool was the final straw, was it?
I think so.
I think so.
Where he headed the ball back.
I mean,
what about Lloris? Lloris has cost you
a
few
goals. I was going to say, how's Lloris doing lately?
Because I've heard that Spurs are looking at the Valencia goalkeeper, Sento.
Nah, don't look at it.
Who is that? Who is the Valencia keeper?
Georgi Mamardashvili.
Any good?
Is
he good?
a 22-year-old goalkeeper, man. Like, for me, better than Donnarumma at his age.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, he'll do. He'll do.
Good.
It's definitely. I think it's definitely the revelation of La Liga. The thing is that it's a goalkeeper. So goalkeepers don't get the spotlight as much as strikers.
No,
Absolutely.
And especially not 22-year-old ones. Young goalkeepers are hard.
That's the thing.
Hard
He's
to find,
amazing,
yeah.
man. He's. I can't even believe how good he is at this age.
Nice.
He's from Georgia.
Yep. So get rid of Lloris. We'll have him then.
Yeah.
No, thanks.
I could maybe see Spurs buying him and then letting him stay at Valencia on loan for another season or something.
Could be. Yeah.
Like I said, 22 is very young for a goalkeeper. So.
Actually, fun fact: Spurs actually not tried to, but thought about buying him this last summer. He had a release clause of only 20 million. And now he resigned a new contract. I think it's 100 now, something like that.
Oh, mate.
But they they were. I mean, everywhere in Valencia was popping up that Spurs were really thinking of paying the 20 million release clause directly and getting the goalkeeper. I'm so glad you didn't. Thank you.
So anyway, I mean, yeah, those three. It's all defense. I mean, I'm very very happy with our attack. I mean, we could still do potentially with an attacking midfielder. We still miss the days of Luka Modric, Christian Eriksen.
Yeah. The good days of Dele Alli.
The good days of Dele Alli, yeah. And it's sort of like Harry Kane needs to drop back and be that person these days, which
you should bring back Dele Alli, actually.
Yeah.
He's still young. Isn't he like 25?
We'll swap him for you. We'll swap him for your keeper.
Do you remember the last World Cup that was coming up? Well, the 2018 World Cup. Sorry, Dele Alli was a key figure in that England team, and now not anywhere to be mentioned in the news. There was Dele Alli left out. No one mentioned Dele Alli.
No. And so Tottenham's result was a good result. We got. I'm comfortable with the result, but we're sat currently fourth in the league, 1 point behind Newcastle, 8 points behind Arsenal, and they've got a game in hand.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few games in hand still kicking around. We've got a game in hand as well. We've only played 14, but I think that might be against City, maybe. I'm not sure.
But the top two.
Fulham.
Yeah, the top two sort of look out of reach. Looks like it would be Arsenal or Man City.
But this is the beauty of it, though, Hal. Well, I think that the fact that this is halfway through the season is... Well, it's not halfway. That's the thing. It's not even halfway. We've got more than half left. But we got more than half left, so that even suits my agenda more.
4 games
the
left.
Fact that anything can happen.
Yeah.
Like if we come back and West Ham get a win at the Emirates, is it Boxing Day or 27th? I think it might be Boxing Day.
Yeah.
If West Ham it's a London derby. Anything can happen in a London derby. West Ham haven't been playing that well. I don't think they've taken as many key players to Jared Bowen. Is Jared Bowen is not in the squad?
No, Jared Bowen's not. No.
So I don't think Skamaka's gone. Obviously, no, he's Italian, so he's not gone. There's a few West Ham players who might be kicking around training. So you just don't know. They could come back, and if West Ham managed to beat Arsenal on that return, what you're looking at then is you've broken Arsenal's momentum. They've come back. They've lost a London derby.
And then they've got. I think they've got one game, and then they've got Newcastle and Tottenham.
I think you're looking at they've got
back to back.
They've got a good run of games where they're playing some top opposition. Chelsea are in there, I think maybe. So
yeah, so here we go. So yeah, you're right. If they lose against West Ham, they've then got Brighton away.
A tough game. Well, and I'm going to that one. May I just add in the podcast? I'll be at that game, bagging on the Albions. I'm getting
on your padded seat,
free alcohol, padded seat, free food. But I'll be on the booze. Well, win or lose on the booze, pretty much at Brighton, isn't it?
Win or lose on the booze, right? So anyway, so we'll have a disappointed George there, and then then they've got Newcastle at home, Tottenham away, Man United at home, and then they've got
that's tough games.
Everton, Brentford, Aston Villa, but
I mean, Everton, on a good day, Goodison Park could be tough. Villa, Unai Emery, and let's not forget, Unai Emery will want to get one back on Arsenal. I am so excited for that game. Can you tell me when is that game? Quite soon, Sam? Is it?
No.
Okay.
We're talking
I
18th of
think
Feb.
I think that's definitely going to be a Villa win. Kind of something like Graham Potter in Brighton,
Yes. Yeah.
It's retaliation, like I said.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
was saying
I
win
think
it.
where this whole sort of chain of discussion is meant to end up is this season could flip on its head. I don't think Arsenal have got it. Go on.
The Premier League can also have a heavy influence on this because they've got to schedule the Man City Arsenal game.
Yes.
If they schedule it
and they're
in
going to.
between there, I mean, that could be losses on the bounce.
They're probably going to want to hold on to them, aren't they? They probably want to save them one of them fixtures for quite late on in the season, which is brilliant.
Anyhow, I'm happy with where Tottenham are. I mean, we could obviously be better, but we're not winning the league this season. I don't believe.
FA Cup.
Pretty sad though. You were in the title race a couple of weeks back, and now you dropped for the 4th position race. What happened there?
Tottenham bottled it.
So what do you want from this season then? Because Harry Kane's contract's up soon, isn't it?
What do I want from this season? I mean, Champions League.
What, you want to win Champions League?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course I do.
Well, obviously you do. So is that? Would you say that's what? Because you're saying the league is out of touch. Then you're saying the Champions League or the FA Cup is that what you're after?
I mean, FA Cup would be nice, but it's sort of just like okay.
Would you not be gassed? So if you won the FA Cup, you would be gassed with that.
I'll be happy, but I wouldn't be gassed.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
why not?
I mean,
it's an important trophy. That
it's a good trophy.
But with Conte and Kane and
is it keeping Harry Kane?
No,
is the FA Cup keeping Harry Kane?
I don't think it is. Because if Spurs do choose to not win anything again, Harry Kane might just well say, I want to go to Newcastle or Man United. I think Newcastle there's been rumours, that Newcastle were going to approach Harry Kane.
I mean, it's not too far-fetched these days, right? They have top-of-the-art facilities. They're going to start creating a decent club.
Good
he
wage.
Wants to break Shearer's record, actually.
Yeah.
Newcastle.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, Harry Kane has 100% certainty that if he goes to Newcastle, maybe not right, it might not be the best team right now, but in 3-4 year time, it will have. I mean, it's going to be a new PSG, basically.
Sento, if Newcastle finish in the Champions League, why wouldn't you go to Newcastle?
Oh yeah,
I think this is a good segue into the next game. I've written it down in the chat. Newcastle 0, Chelsea 1. If only I could be so lucky. Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0. Now I watched this game. I don't think who else. Did anyone else watch this game?
Nope.
I watched the highlights.
Okay, well,
that was on my birthday day, which I think.
Yeah, well, I think
a couple of days ago, isn't it?
Yeah. Happy birthday, Sento.
Thank you.
Shocker. I'm not sure I could say one positive from that game. I mean, again, Lewis Hall got given a start, and now Lewis Hall played really well against Man City last week in the Carabao Cup fixture. He got given a start by Potter in the league, which I was happy with. I thought, given the youth a go, he deserves it.
Yeah.
I was happy with that. Ruben Loftus-Cheek got injured within 10 minutes. And Graham Potter brings on a defender. Now, when you look at the lineup at that point, I think we had about 2 attackers on the pitch and about 8 defensive-minded players, shall we say, whether they be midfielders or not. And I just think, I think the squad's out of sync. I think we need some heavy sort of surgery in January and summer.
Is Graham Potter creating the next Atletico Madrid or the English Atletico Madrid?
No.
8 defensive players.
But that's what Chelsea fans are unhappy with at the moment. I think they feel confused because we had quite a good start under Potter. We were keeping clean sheets, we were winning games, we were unbeaten in about 7, and then it fell apart. And now we can't seem to keep. I mean, Loftus-Cheek shouldn't be in the squad, to be honest.
No,
I think Chelsea
He comes off for Thiago Silva. What
injured.
Yeah, but who pushes into Loftus-Cheek's position in that scenario?
I think Mason Mount could have dropped a bit deeper into midfield, and we could have brought on another young player called Amari Hutchinson, who's a winger and a very attacking-minded player. Just giving him a chance, but I think this is a sort of an example of the sort of work that needs to be done at Chelsea. I think if we just maybe go back to the game quickly, I think Newcastle Bruno Guimaraes played well, but he did misplace a few passes. Now, if he was on his game, I think Newcastle could have won that game 2 or 3-0. I think Chelsea got battered by Newcastle. We got suffocated. We looked like a sort of, as if Southampton had gone there, or we were sat back trying to catch them on the break. Newcastle, the fans are up for it. Like we say, it was an evening game, so they're obviously up for it. Great atmosphere. And Newcastle look like a really solid team. They look like they know exactly what they're doing. They've got some great players in great form. Trippier, Almiron, Guimaraes, Joelinton.
I mean, with 8 defensive-minded players, you have to sit back. You cannot be offensive with 8 defensive-minded players.
We're not considering that Alexander Isak, when he has played for Newcastle, was unreal, and he's been injured.
So, by the way, one question. Does that 8 defensive-minded player also include the goalkeeper?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think, the fact that we're not... Now, it's partly down to injury, obviously, because most of our creative outlet was through Reece James, but that's a problem in itself. And that's why Chelsea are looking at signing creative players now. And I think I've been deprived of it since the likes of Hazard leaving. But Hazard was more of a winger. If I think of a creative midfielder, the likes of Juan Mata or Oscar, maybe, now that was a long time ago. I've been deprived of creative midfielders. Maybe Fabregas. Fabregas was a deeper lying creative midfielder, but I'm talking of like attacking minded, always looking to get forward.
Yeah,
I think that's what we need.
You look dull to watch. I mean, the Arsenal game, I'm assuming it was more of the same. It was
pretty much.
There's no content.
No,
you're just playing. You're playing football, but you're not saying anything.
And Havertz is part of the problem here because we've bought him and spent a lot of money on him to be this player, to be this attacking player who can bag us goals. And he's doing it for Germany. I'm hoping that he's going to do it for Germany in the World Cup and he gets some confidence because for some reason, now whether he's unsettled in London or whatever, he just looks like disinterested a lot for Chelsea. He comes on and all he wants to do is get into little arguments, which he did against Arsenal.
That was what Dele Alli was doing on his way out.
And he did it against Newcastle. Yeah, so do you know what I mean? Like, he just looks a bit unhappy. So who knows? Now, Chelsea are looking at signing a Russian young player called Arsene Zakarian, I think he was called. I was talking to Sento about him.
Yeah, I'll ask you actually the same question as Sam. 3 players. What will we replace? Yeah.
Okay, well, I've done the classic YouTube scouting and watched a few videos on Zakarian. And it's not just the videos, okay? So if you actually look at the statistics, I think this Zakarian is the most creative player in Europe. Now, obviously, he's doing it in the Russian league, which isn't as esteemed as your La Ligas or your Serie A's Premier Leagues. But he's a young player. He's 18, 19. He's the most creative player statistically in Europe. I watched a few videos on him, and you can see why. He looks a little bit like a sort of a mix between a De Bruyne to maybe a bit of a Kovacic, Modric. When he's very comfortable dribbling with the ball, he can cross the ball, very good delivery. He can take a ball around the player. He can read the game. He's good at interceptions. Quite physical, 6 foot. So he can get his head on things. Good touch. Can score from range. So and I think the only hinge with him is the fact he's Russian. So I think there's a bit of an issue with him getting a visa. So he's actually trying to change his nationality to Albanian at the moment. I think it's Albanian or Georgian or something like that. Zakarian, his surname is, so it must be some sort of country around that region. But yeah, we need a player creative. And I think if I'm thinking of another one, maybe you're asking for 3. Gvardiol, maybe.
So defensive player. Who you would replace with? Like which players are you replacing?
Well, at the moment, I don't want to sell Havertz because I still think there's a player in there. But I think put him on the bench and give this Zakarian a go. And maybe on the bench you're looking at Hakim Ziyech going because he looks unhappy. So Pulisic maybe going making way. So
so they're attacking players.
Yeah, but they're unhappy.
You're getting rid of attacking.
They're
players.
unhappy,
and you wanted attacking players. So
yeah, but I think the Pulisic and Ziyech, I think are lost causes now. I feel like they're dead certain in their head that they're going. In a way, they look unhappy. I think when they came in, they had a bit of an ego about them. I think they both thought they'd be sort of playing key roles in the squad, whereas we need players who are happy playing sort of squad roles sometimes. And this Zakarian, as a young player, he'd come in and hopefully he wouldn't be too big about his boots. But a few other players, maybe if we had to, I think Gvardiol from Leipzig as a central defender. Yeah. So Thiago Silva's obviously, and Aspilicueta aging. So I think we need a defender. So I'd probably get him. Kovacic will probably be able to
Well, you
persuade him.
reckon you need like a proper striker?
Well,
I'm not saying Raheem Sterling is not a striker, but it's more of like
Sterling's been
a,
diabolical. Sterling's been
move-
diabolical. We were looking at Nkunku talking to strikers, but Nkunku's was selected for the French squad, but Nkunku, I don't know if you've seen, is injured.
Sterling is not a 9. You know, like
No, he's
Lukaku
not.
was a 9. That's the thing.
We still
Is
have
he
Lukaku.
out of the World Cup?
Yeah,
Is
he's
he-
out of the World Cup. Nkunku is.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's rough.
We still have Lukaku. He's
we
not
still
gonna
have
come back,
Lukaku.
though.
No, he's not.
You've got
gonna come back.
Lukaku. Was he on
Yeah.
loan?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
I
not.
didn't
yeah.
realise that. No way.
But yeah, we need to be looking at. We've literally just pinched another Brighton member of staff, head of global recruitment, I think, Paul Winstanley, his name is, and he'll be joining the rest of them that have joined. So I want to see evidence that this new recruitment team have got a bit about them, because we need to start finding players that we don't have to shell 60 million on, because we're getting ridiculous.
Are you comfortable with where Chelsea are at the moment in the league?
I'm comfortable with where we are in the league, but I'm not comfortable with the performances.
So something needs to change.
I'm willing to concede that we're in a transitional period, but I'm also aware that we have players that are seemingly good enough to be challenging, if not making sure we get into top 4. So, January's a big month for Chelsea, as we were saying, for many other clubs. The World Cup's big. I think I'd like to see players like Kai Havertz and Mason Mount have good seasons, because Mason Mount's not been playing well either. He looks like he's sort of a bit confused in terms of his role in the squad. I think Graham Potter needs time. Graham Potter's going to revel in this 5-week break.
The team is not synchronized. You need to change some things over there. It's not together. The team is just not together.
Yeah. So Newcastle, how can Newcastle improve? Because they've been phenomenal so far.
Yeah. I think if they could add maybe.
If they got Harry Kane, I mean, now this seed has been planted in my head. If Newcastle sign a Harry Kane,
can you just see now Kane and Shearer holding a Newcastle shirt?
Game over.
Yeah. I think it'll be an interesting sign, but I don't know if that will happen anytime soon. But Newcastle, I think they look scary, mate. I think obviously they beat Spurs, they beat your team, Sam.
They look happy.
And they look happy. They're a real team. They're all working for each other. They know their
But
roles.
will they get Harry Kane when they have Isaac, though?
No, not
that's
yet.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I think
because Isaac is a young, very talented.
If this happened, I think you'd probably see it happen in a couple of years when Kane gets on the other side of, maybe he sort of knows his peaks on the downward turn, and he knows that he just wants to win a trophy, or have a better chance of winning a trophy or something.
And how's Nick Pope doing?
Well, for Newcastle, quite well. He made a very good save, actually. So before the goal, Conor Gallagher had a good strike, and I think he could have put a bit more power onto it, maybe. But Nick Pope made a good save, and then Newcastle went up the other end and scored.
He's in my fantasy football team, Pope.
Yeah. But Chelsea have got Graham Potter has got a real job on his hands. We look like we need surgery. We don't need cosmetic surgery. We need surgery. Do you know what I mean? So, and I've read that Kovacic and Mendy are potentially looking for new challenges elsewhere. And there's a lot of talk about Mendy not being good enough, because obviously he's had to come in and fill in for Kepa, who got injured. He was playing really well. Kepa was playing amazingly.
And now is it for how long? Is he away?
Well, it was a little foot injury, I think, and I've just seen it. Well, I saw an Instagram of him this morning walking around like it looks like Italy with his girlfriend, so he can't be that bad. Yeah.
He'll be back.
A lot to do for Chelsea. To conclude, a lot of work to do at Chelsea.
So are you looking forward to the second half of the season?
I think we've got Bournemouth at home
for the next season.
I think we've got Bournemouth at home for the first game back, so I'm confident we can get back to a winning start. But I'm interested to see what we can do in January. But I think this season is a write-off.
Yeah. I mean, it's a transition to Graham Potter.
Yeah, I think we need to give Graham a chance, because we've got this squad. When you look at it, we've got players from the Conte era, the Sarri era, the Lampard era, the Tuchel era.
Is Bakayoko still Chelsea?
No, I think we have sold him. I think he's finally gone. But we need to give Graham Potter the chance to really get his hands in this team. And who do you want? Who don't you want? Make it his team. Give him a handful of transfer windows. Sign him some players. You're looking at potentially Leandro Trossard coming in. Moises
that'd be great.
Caicedo. I mean, I'm not sure I want Caicedo. Roman Lavia from Southampton. He looked quite good. But again, we're going to get scalped for players like that. They're going to be 50 million plus. So I'm up for signing smaller players. And, you know, as much as I hate to say it, doing it the Arsenal way.
No, Bakayoko is still on loan to AC Milan.
Oh, well, there you go. I rest my case.
So the Arsenal way, 2-0 Wolves.
Yeah.
2-0 against Wolves.
Captain performance from Odegaard. Now, it was a controversial one. I didn't catch, caught the highlights, didn't catch the whole game. But there was a VAR decision that I think should have gone Wolves' way. So Arsenal, I think, lucky. They look good though, the way they're
And
playing.
Wolves very unlucky.
Yeah, but they should have had Lopetegui. I don't know why he wanted to say I'm coming on Monday. Like, what boring! What are you doing? Like, get in there and sort this out. It's a mess. And Arsenal, I don't think now, Sam. I want to hear what you say from this. I haven't seen Arsenal look this positive as a squad since we were about less than a metre tall. You know, we were 5'6". 7. We're thinking back to the Bergkamp, Thierry Henry days. Like, I haven't seen Arsenal look this good, and this sort of,
you say Bergkamp, Thierry Henry days, but I mean, who are you putting on the level of those players? Individuals?
I think it's just a team sort of atmosphere and the direction 100%. They're pulling in, isn't it?
100% agree with you. So the team performances and the atmosphere are fantastic, right?
Yeah.
And that's off the back of results and a team performance.
Yeah.
A dislodged team like Tottenham have had, Chelsea have had, causes ripples.
Yeah.
Because no one replaces it. No, I mean it breaks them. And you know, we were sat here at the beginning of the season saying Arsenal have the luckiest run in the Premier League. How many other clubs could you have given those 10 games to?
Yeah. And to get your game against Man City postponed.
Yeah, to get your game against Man City postponed.
Because lest we forget, I think they lost to United, didn't they? They lost to United away.
Yeah. And they played a very deflated Tottenham and they played a very deflated Chelsea.
Very deflated.
Yeah. It was
this is my hope for the second half of the season.
They won pretty much by luck, those games. Because the Chelsea the Arsenal Chelsea, wasn't that like a last minute winner?
Well, no, it was a goal, I think, about the 70th minute. But Arsenal did deserve to win that game.
They did deserve it. Yeah.
But like you said, it was a silly goal to concede. It was from a corner and it went through about 7 bodies, and it really should have been a 0-0 draw. But hindsight.
But anyway, I mean, I think yes, they're very positive and they're very happy, but you know, it's 15 games.
Yeah, 15 for Arsenal. They're very keen to add in to the squad in January as well. They're very aware that their bench is good for the start.
You're right. It's 14 for Arsenal.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think Arsenal are going to be quite keen to add in January. I don't think that their owners are going to. And the same as Newcastle. I think when you're doing well, it's the time to capitalise, and that's what Daniel Levy hasn't grasped yet.
I would put that on the back of the new stadium.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah. It was £1 billion, wasn't it? So.
It was £1 billion stadium.
Yeah.
Jesus, £1 billion.
Yeah.
What the hell was that, mate?
Oh, it's a lovely stadium, mate. Yeah, but I mean, it's a business venture, right? Because they were playing the rugby final, I think, the girls
and the American football and all that.
Yeah, it's got the American football. You got the rolling stage. You got Anthony Joshua boxing.
This isn't all happening at the same time, by the way. It's a different event.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a bigger stadium. It's a village.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Arsenal are looking scary at the moment, and I think a few of their fans are starting to believe that they are capable of winning this league. Because City, losing to Brentford, they didn't look great. So, but this has come at a bad time for Arsenal. I saw a lot of Arsenal fans saying, I'm going to miss watching Arsenal. I'll miss you for the 5 weeks. And I was thinking, bloody hell, chance be them. Chance be a fine thing. I'm bloody wishing Chelsea away for the next 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's the thing. I mean, they can come back a completely different club.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Look at what Liverpool have done over. I mean, how long a break was it between Liverpool's last game and Liverpool's first game of the new season? I mean, they look a different club.
Yeah.
It's so
Well,
disjointed.
maybe we'll quickly move on from Arsenal and touch on that Liverpool game.
Completely different.
3-1. Liverpool. I think Liverpool are going to make top 4. Hot take
think
maybe,
so?
but I think
Oh.
they're going to stay sort of stable with Jurgen Klopp. They won't fire him. I think they've had the likes of they've had some injuries in key positions. So I think Liverpool are going to come strong. I think they're going to get some results together. And
Did they look that good against Spurs?
no, they did concede goals, but for some reason, Darwin Núñez has been in and out of the team. But every time he's sort of played, I think he's got quite a good record, Darwin Núñez. And if he has a good World Cup, this World Cup could be a confidence boost for a lot of players.
Yeah. Uruguay could do well with Darwin Núñez.
Yeah. And I think Liverpool are still a strong team. I think they've had a lot of banter thrown at them for the way Trent was playing and Van Dijk's aura and stuff sort of dissolving.
But also in the selling position, that always affects things a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit unstable. I think the club now it's unstable.
Yeah.
From the administration,
they're up for sale.
Because they're up for sale. So I think that's going to affect somewhat the market too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what to expect out of Liverpool this season.
But they haven't had Diogo Jota. He's been injured for quite a while, and he played quite a big part in coming off the bench and scoring, or sometimes even starting. Yeah. So, I think Liverpool are gonna really push for the top. If we were maybe towards the end of discussing these fixtures of the Premier League, we'll say who we think will make top 4 at this point, because it is kind of halfway through. But yeah, moving on to the Sunday game, maybe. Or go on, Sam.
Well, I was just going to say, doing the other side of how we think Liverpool are going to do. How do we think Southampton are doing? And going back a game, how do we think?
Well, they've got rid of Hassan Hutel, haven't
they? Those two are bottom. 12 and 10 points is. I mean, you need to string a couple of results together to get out, and you can do that. I mean, Wolves have a good squad. Southampton have a decent squad.
Both teams have changed managers, so.
Yeah,
I think Southampton have got. Is it the Luton manager? His name is Dan Kelly or something. That might not be the name, but the Luton manager.
Nathan Jones.
Nathan Jones, that's the one. Yeah. Don't know who
Ruben Sellers. I mean, the Premier League's very unforgiving, isn't it?
Yeah, and it can flip on a switch. We just don't know. Like I said, if West Ham can get one on Arsenal on this return, I'm looking forward. Right now, I'm sat here. This podcast is 8:30. I'm starving, thinking of Christmas and the Christmas food. A bit of football as well. Yeah. Getting excited. So,
Leicester were bottom on Christmas, and a year later they won the Premier League.
Yeah. So Southampton could do the unthinkable.
Yeah.
Hopefully
not.
Yeah, Lopetegui.
Maybe they win the league, mate. Turn tables.
Now, Sento, quickly, as a Spanish person, how do you say the new Wolves manager's name?
Lopetegui.
Lopetegui.
Right.
Yeah. Lopetegui.
Yeah.
Julen Lopetegui.
And on Sunday, I was sat there, I saw 1-1 Man United. I was like, all right, nice, lovely. Man United dropping points. Check later on, thinking it's a bloody finish to draw, to find out that they got a last-minute winner. Garnacho. That's a great result for Man United to go away on the 5-week break with a last-minute winner. But it was the excitement or happiness was cut quite short, wasn't it? Well, maybe we'll quickly touch on the game. I don't think Man United played that well, to be honest. But to get a young player to score the win is always exciting, and moving forward, that should do him and his confidence the world of good. So.
Even more right now when with all this Cristiano Ronaldo thing.
Yeah, that's what I was about to bring up. The happiness was short-lived. Ronaldo dropped the bombshell.
As Garnacho, I mean, he stops playing with Ronaldo, and now he's going to play off with Messi in the World Cup.
Yeah. Is he in the Argentine squad?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
That's funny though.
Someone else chat about Man United quickly, and Ten Hag, and I'll search it.
Oh, Man United and Ten Hag. Well,
I mean, Ronaldo?
Ronaldo. 1 second, sorry.
Has Ten Hag lost the Man United squad?
No, I think he's made it.
Jesus, I have a cold and I nearly drowned with my own saliva over there. I want to try to speak. Jesus, that was horrible, man.
Went straight down. What do we think the Ronaldo effect is going to have on the rest of the squad?
I think so. I mean, it's going to have. It's already having. I mean, I think the squad it's having problems between them because of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Have we all seen the Bruno Fernandes meets Ronaldo?
Yeah, it looks a bit frosty.
Yes.
Looks a bit frosty.
It just looks frosty, right?
It is. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo is going to be out probably this winter. Oh, you know, they've been removing the big poster on Old Trafford.
Yeah, he's definitely going to leave in January, isn't he?
And they're removing every picture of him from the stadium. You know, right now.
Yeah.
That was.
Do you think Ronaldo has ruined his legacy, Sento?
I mean, who is at fault here? Like, you're basically saying this, like, Cristiano Ronaldo was at fault here, but...
Well, he's opened his mouth.
He obviously has part of the blame, but does it have all the blame? We don't know what's going on in there. You know?
Yeah, we don't know completely what's going on. He did criticise the facilities, saying that they hadn't changed since the last time he was there. He also said he said he didn't respect Erik ten Hag. I think did he say?
I do believe that. I do believe that. I mean, and he should be. His ego, or whatever.
Didn't he? He threw a dig at. He threw a dig at one at Gary Neville, saying he's not Gary Neville's friend, and he threw a dig. He threw a dig at
Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney, saying he wasn't as good looking as him.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. This guy is unbelievable.
No, he said he's not gonna say he's better looking than Wayne Rooney, which is true. He said something like that.
The thing is, as well,
maybe he did bring his own legacy, like you were saying.
He's been fined £1 million.
Yeah,
£1 million.
Yeah,
it's pocket change for him, right?
No, well, I mean,
yeah.
Still, it's the bad publicity.
Sam, do you think he's ruined his legacy at Man United?
Do I think he's ruined his legacy?
Yes, definitely.
At Man United, yeah, hands down, I agree. Yeah, Man United fans will now look sour towards him. I mean, look how Bruno Fernandes looks at him at the moment.
Yeah.
It's not something you do, is it?
No. I've seen something, I've read a few things where people think he might be really struggling to come to terms with his age and the fact that, he's not capable of starting games for Man United, or, he's really struggling to sort of accept that he's not the player he once was. His body, he can't do it anymore.
Yeah, but he then needs to join another club, right? And the question is that what he's been trying to do?
Yeah,
I believe it is.
Yeah. He wanted to leave. He wanted to leave in the summer, didn't he?
Yeah, he already wanted to leave this summer. He couldn't do it. I think, he's definitely flourishing the things himself.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you're on your way out? Right, you're at an age where you're close to retirement, or you're close to the end of top flight professional football, and you're not allowed to leave, or
and the thing is, who's going to take him now? Because he's causing all these problems. Like, he was previously one month ago, something like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
He was linked with Valencia, right, at some point, for when leaving United, coming to Valencia. And I was thinking, football wise, is Cristiano Ronaldo. I can't say anything about that. But do you really want a player that's maybe gonna break the team apart?
Yeah.
More like,
no.
Instead of in morale, and stuff.
You don't want those wages.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But I don't want the attitude
Also,
either.
wages.
It's like there's.
I'm more concerned about the attitude. Like you say. Yeah.
There's sources in Britain that are trying to propel this sort of story where Todd Boehly wants to sign him, but I don't know if that's gas or not. I don't know if they're just trying to sort of make a fool out of Boehly, because he'd upset everything. Why would we want Ronaldo?
The thing is that has big money having Ronaldo too. Okay, you pay big wages, but for sure that your fans are gonna buy a Cristiano Ronaldo t-shirt. It's Cristiano Ronaldo.
If Ronaldo signs
to retire.
If Ronaldo signs for Spurs, Sam, are you going to buy a Ronaldo Spurs shirt?
Well, I mean, I've got my own little pet peeves with football shirts being 70 quid.
Yes. Now, when we were kids, I remember them being 38, 40 quid.
Talking about.
Oh, I'm not buying one anyway.
Yeah.
But talking about this exactly, I'm fed up with Peter Lim. I've promised myself to not buy anything Valencia related this year.
Only
But
tickets.
at the same time, I'm really thinking of buying a fucking Cavani t-shirt. I want a Cavani t-shirt, you know?
Yeah.
I want a
Because it's
Dele Alli
fucking
t-shirt.
Cavani.
Oh, those days
Go
are
for
gone,
it, go
Sam.
for it.
Them
I
days are gone.
wanted a Dele Alli t-shirt, and now I'm glad I didn't.
You should
to be
get
honest.
like a Heung-min Son one, the little green, the
Yeah.
green one from the Man City away game from.
Yeah, but the only reason I wanted Dele Alli one was because it's got 20 on the back. You know,
Oh
sort
yeah,
of
or that
soft number.
Lucas Moura one from the Ajax game.
Oh mate, they'd be going for well.
Yeah.
I could get the shirt, but I'd want the match worn one.
Yeah. Framed.
Imagine that.
Framed.
Yeah.
Well, maybe now's a good time then, just to quickly wrap up on the Premier League chat. Top 4 expectations. Let's be bold and try and. Now I can't remember what we all said at the start.
I thought you'd written them down.
I probably have.
You'd written them down
If
to
I
revisit at the end of the year.
I probably have. If I quickly flick through here, but what I want us to do is basically just say, the top 4
in order.
Yeah, I think top 4 in order. Sento and maybe go first.
Okay, right now, as of now, what I think, top 4. I think Man City first.
Wow, yeah. So Arsenal aren't going to win the league.
Yeah. I think Arsenal will not win the league. I mean, it's a very young team. For me, the reasons is that it's a very young team, and young players tend to throw second halves. They don't know how to maintain a good level, be patient, you know. So I don't know. I'm doubtful. They might end second, so I'm going to put them second. I'm going to keep. I was very doubtful. I was going to give second to Newcastle, but I'm going to give them third. And I really think Newcastle is going to end on the top 4 and do quite well this year.
Really?
Yeah. 4th position, I'm going to give it to Spurs. And that's it. That's my top 4.
Sam, what about you? Top 4?
Oh, sorry, not Chelsea, not top 4 for Chelsea.
I won't hold it against you.
So I'm starting. I'm starting with the same.
Yeah.
Man City number 1.
Oh, of course.
I think Arsenal have to come second. If they do not come at least second, then it will be the biggest bottle job of the century.
I was thinking exactly that while I was doing my top 4. I was doubtful of not giving them second. Yeah. But at the same
our perception of this, there is no way they can't finish second, at least.
But at the same time, you think about it, and it would be very fun.
Man City.
It would be very fun. Yeah.
So Man City, Arsenal, and then I'm going a bit hopeful, of course, but I'm going hopefully confident, and that's Tottenham.
Oh.
Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham. I think it's going to be close for number 4. I think 3rd and 4th is going to be a proper fighting place. And the question I'm asking myself is Newcastle on the hype train, or are they there?
The thing is, you've got to be now. You've got Newcastle, Man United, Liverpool, and Chelsea, all fighting for that last spot.
Yeah,
I think they're there. I think Newcastle the worst thing
exactly.
Now, as I see them now,
and Tottenham for
they
3rd and 4th.
They will do
I'm very concerned for Chelsea. I mean, not too concerned. I've read reports again that Todd Boehly won't be sacking Graham Potter even if we don't qualify for Champions League. So I'm not concerned about that. But I don't know if I want to be in the Europa League. I mean, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it.
I think you do. And instead of Europa League, I will prefer to be in Conference League. You know?
Would you?
No, mate. You do not want to be in the Conference League.
You know why? You know why? A bit of chill, so you can still keep growing your team. Give the Conference League maybe to the youngsters to play, and if you win it, you're winning something you never had before.
Yeah, we have not actually won that yet.
Seno, you're flying out to Kazakhstan on a Wednesday night and then you gotta play.
I just
a
want the
game
title. I just want the
in
title
weird
because
conditions.
it's something you've never won before.
Didn't Spurs get knocked out the Conference League?
Spurs.
Got
Spurs were in
we
the
got
Conference
knocked
League
out
last
because-
season and got knocked
because of
out.
COVID.
Did it?
Yeah, because of COVID. Because we couldn't play again because of
Ah.
COVID, and then we forfeited 3-0.
Okay. Fair enough.
So yeah. Anyway, I've been there, Sento. You don't want to go there. You don't want to go there.
All right, then.
So fourth place, Newcastle. Fourth place, Newcastle.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be to be fair to see
Has to
Newcastle in the Champions League. That would be amazing.
Top 4 for Newcastle for sure.
Top 4 for me. Yeah, City first. Right. City first.
3 the same.
Tottenham second.
Ooh. What's to spice it up? Too hard, too spicy.
Liverpool third.
Jesus, mate.
And
Jesus.
Newcastle fourth.
Oh, you're giving the European football at least to Arsenal.
Arsenal fifth.
Aye.
I've got Arsenal fifth. I've got the wheels to absolutely fall off.
You put the money on that, mate. You put the money on that.
Arsenal to finish fifth. I think. Now, I'm not wishing injuries upon anyone, but I just think they're going to get a key injury or two. And I just think once something gets under their skin, I think they'll struggle to shake it off. I think something will happen as well. I just think something will happen that will really get under their skin. Like a really unjust loss or something, a wrongfully given penalty or something like that in a big game. I think something like that will really derail their season.
Something
And
big will
Arteta
happen.
will lose his head.
Maybe,
and they'll be
I don't
blaming
think
it
one game. I think something big will happen. Maybe
over a few games.
Two or 3 games in a row.
Bad refereeing, injury.
And then from there, it will maybe turn into like what Chelsea is currently right now. So like not a Saints team, not very united, not playing well.
I think George is very lucky that most Arsenal fans would have switched this podcast off very early anyway because of the conversation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, there would be riots.
I mean, to be fair, there might be Arsenal fans listening who are enjoying listening to a Chelsea fan and a Spurs fan who are basically worried about the prospect of them winning the title.
That's always entertaining.
Well, one of us clearly isn't worried because he's put them as finishing fifth.
No, I'm not worried at all. Not worried at all. Well, I think maybe Sento, do you want to touch upon the Liga, or do you want to jump into service station or unfamiliar footballer?
If you want to go very, very quick through La Liga, I mean, there's nothing very interesting as other weeks.
Go on then.
Sevilla, Real Sociedad. Sevilla loses at home 2-1. Man, still in relegation. Sinking more. Sevilla, we're talking about Sevilla. It's like saying, I don't know, Spurs right now are being on relegation zone and keep sinking.
Keep singing.
No, singing. But yeah, horrible for them. Atletico Madrid loses against Mallorca. What a match! Jesus, I can't even imagine that game. They dropped to Europa League, so they're not having a really good season either, mate. But Valencia, on the contrary, we win 3-0 at home against Betis, which they were doing great. I think they were 5th in that moment. Yeah, 5th.
Yeah.
Before they lost. So very happy because we drew or lost the five last games, I think. So a very needed win for Valencia. And that's pretty much the most interesting thing because the big teams like Real Madrid, they won against Cadiz, which is doing horribly bad this season. They played the first King's Cup game against a team from a 2,000 population town, something like that.
Yeah.
Very little team, like the goalkeeper's the butcher. the striker is the banker of the town, something
Yeah,
of the sort. And they've just lost.
San Marino.
They've been knocked out from the King's Cup by them. A horrible season by Cats. So nothing interesting over there. And similar thing with Barcelona and Osasuna. Although Osasuna is having a great season, it's a small team which is in Europa League positions right now. So yeah, amazingly well.
So you happy? Are you happy with where Valencia are in the league?
Oh no, mate. We're 10th, mate.
10th.
Yeah, we should be aiming for Champions League.
He wants Conference
Are you
League
happy with
football. Give
Gattuso?
it to him.
Are you happy with Gattuso?
Oh yeah. I think Gattuso was definitely it was the correct choice. They did it brilliantly well. Although I would have never sacked Bordalas though. He got us to the King's Cup final. He did pretty well that season with the team, considering the team we had. And the thing is that people were very angry in the way the team was going. Obviously, just selling players, not buying anyone, just getting players on loan. Obviously, you're going to lose them at the end of the season. You're not going to make a project like that. And I think they're definitely trying to wash their image with this change of coach to Gattuso, which is a more dynamic. It's a more interesting football to watch. I'm going to give you that. I think it was a good change. I think definitely was a good change. Bringing the best out of the players we're having, which Bordalas also did, but it's just different. He has a happy football. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Would you say that the atmosphere around Valencia feels a lot better with Gattuso, even though you're still unhappy about Peter Lim?
Not in day.
Really?
Last game I went to was the Valencia Barcelona, so it was in Mestalla, Valencia at home. It was the worst environment, or I don't know, man. Like no one was scoring, no one was singing, no one was doing anything. Everyone was pissed off. There was a very, very bad atmosphere in the
stadium.
In the stadium, yeah, I couldn't get the word out.
Yeah.
But this season, I couldn't get into any games still because of my leg. Which, happily, today has been my first day I walked. By the way, my first day stepping on my left leg
After the ACL injury.
Yeah, after my ACL and meniscus injury. So yeah, I didn't have the chance to go and watch the match, but just in the TV I can see that they're singing, they're choring. You know, they're like one curve is shouting to the curve, and the curve is answering back. Is a way more joyful atmosphere.
Yeah. Are the
Definitely.
stadiums in Spain back to full capacity now after COVID?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because when you went, was it full capacity or not?
When I was already full capacity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, anything else about La Liga, would you say?
Nah, pretty boring week, to be honest.
Who are you expecting to sort of run away with it this year then? You expecting a team to run away with it, or is it going to be a fight to the end?
I think a fight between Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Going back to the to the two big ones fighting for the title. Who's going to take it?
I've read that Barcelona are trying to discuss with La Liga to try and allow them to sign more players in January or something.
I mean,
I bet they are.
they are. Their fair plays. I mean, they don't have fair play.
Yeah.
It's fucked. It's completely fucked. So they can. Laporte came out a couple of days ago saying on an interview that they will not sign any player, but I do believe they're talking with La Liga for them to allow them to buy more players. What do you guys reckon about Barcelona? Are they getting in a very bad pit? Are they getting themselves in some sort of trap with all this?
Yeah, some people think that there won't be a football club in 5 years, don't they?
Yeah, I mean that actually the president of Bayern Munich, when selling Lewandowski, to Barcelona. You guys
Yes.
heard what happened?
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, Barcelona wanted to pay Lewandowski, the transfer to Bayern Munich in like 4 or 5 years. In 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
So be fractioned in 4 or 5 years. Not in 4 or 5 years. I'll pay the entire amount. And the Bayern Munich president came out in an interview saying they will not accept that deal as they don't believe they will still exist in 5 years.
Unbelievable.
Like, when Bayern Munich president says that, you must get scared. I think you must.
I mean, Barcelona must know if they're in deep shit, surely. And they are.
I think they are.
They've pulled every lever possible, haven't they?
Literally.
Keep trying.
Yeah.
Sold their future income, literally, for like present, let's say, performance, and they're not getting it. They got knocked out of Champions, which is the big money competition.
But they're in Europa, aren't they? They've got drawn against Man United, so
it doesn't give as much money though.
Who owns Barcelona?
I think Barcelona is still owned by its fans. There's like a lot of stockholders.
Right. Okay.
Because they have like presidents in Spain, don't they? You have like presidents of teams.
Yeah. We have the president, then the sporting director, which is the one that negotiates, looks for players, and buys the players, and then the coach that asks to the sporting director for players. Like, I need a winger that has this sort of characteristics.
Yeah.
And then the sporting director goes out there and finds a player.
Well, to conclude sort of domestic football, then that's 5 weeks of waiting now until it all starts again just after Christmas, literally the day after in the UK, Boxing Day.
Well, we got
the EFL, but I'm not going to be watching that. Yeah, that's 3 days after the World 3 days after the World Cup final, isn't it?
Mm.
So if any Man City or Liverpool players are in the World Cup final, they will most definitely not be featuring in that game. This is unbelievable with the amount of football we've got coming up, boys. But maybe now is a good time just to revisit one of our favourite features, Service Station, or I've now renamed it, Unfamiliar Footballer. I've got 2 today because I don't think we had the answer from the last one.
I was going to say that.
Yeah,
I need the answer.
I do need the answer too.
Fremantle.
Joseph Fremantle is what I had.
Now, who said what?
Ham said service station. I said player. If I'm not mistaken, isn't it?
I think so.
What do you think now, Fremantle?
I still think the same thing. I'll keep it. That's a footballer.
Yeah, I'm going Service Station. I mean, Joseph Fremantle sounds too tempting as a little German, but it's got to be Fremantle.
The thing is that, remember, we did say that the spelling wasn't German-like. Yeah. It was English-like.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was a big coup.
So the Fremantle Service Station. Fremantle Service Station is off of the A36, I'm going to say, coming up to Oxford. Something like that.
Yeah, well, I can now reveal to you that the answer for Fremantle Service Station or Unfamiliar Footballer from last week, Ethan Fremantle is a forward for Kidderminster Harriers Football Club.
Mate.
That's a 1-1, mate.
Is he Scottish?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think he's English.
Ethan Fremantle.
He's a Kidderminster Harriers Academy graduate. So there you go. Now,
it's ruthless.
Swiftly moving on to this week's Service Station or Unfamiliar Footballer. This one, I'm hoping, has you both in knots again. Questioning every decision you ever made. Greenwich. Greenwich is the name. I will type it into the chat just so you can see how it's spelt. Greenwich is
okay. But it's not like Greenwich.
No, it's not Greenwich. It's Greenwich. Okay.
Greenwich.
So I think we'll save that one. Maybe we'll save that one for. We are recording again tomorrow, and I'm hoping we'll be able to get these next episodes out quite swiftly. But maybe we'll do the answer for that one tomorrow.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah. Greenwich.
Yeah. Oof, I don't know. Saucy.
Let that one simmer.
Yeah.
Let that sauce simmer.
Yeah. Well, before we leave, maybe a few words about our excitement, about the World Cup. I mean, if you're still listening to this point, thank you very much. Please like, comment, please subscribe. Please get in touch with us on Twitter if you can. We're going to be discussing the World Cup tomorrow. I'm very excited. Don't know about you two.
Yeah, I'm excited. It was coming. I mean,
Slowly ramping up.
It's slowly ramping up. I think the first World Cup game that happens, it's always a crap one. But
Yeah.
It's going to set the scene.
Are you going to watch it on Sunday? 7 p.m. Qatar against Ecuador.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Well, I've been preparing a lot of tweets for our Pixel Players NFT account. So if you are still listening again, please do follow. A load of Pixel Player content coming over the next few weeks regarding the World Cup and our wonderful Pixel Kits, which I'll bring on the screen again now. But yeah, I think that's all. I'm trying to think of something else that we might have forgotten, but I think we're going to be talking about the World Cup from here on out for the next few weeks, aren't we? So it's time
that's
to
the only thing that's on.
Yeah, it's time to put club football to bed, isn't it?
And sorry if you're a Brighton or Villa fan.
Yeah, and also apologise if there's anyone out there who
forgot to talk about
might be maybe slightly ill-influenced by our earlier stories about driving. Yeah, don't take any of that as gospel. We've learned from our mistakes and we don't do it anymore. So please check out our previous podcast. Discussed about the World Cup. It was a good start. We talk about food. If you don't want to hear about the World Cup, just listen for the food discussion. That's good enough. First 4 minutes of that podcast.
Sensation.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
It's been a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Anyway, well, I guess I think the time has come to pose this question. Now, I was watching Come Dine With Me last night. Now, if you don't know, Come Dine With Me is a show where contestants cook. They're random people, normal people. They don't know each other and they cook for each other. 3-course meal, and they have to rate each other out of 10 based on their cooking and entertainment. And one of the questions I heard last night was, who do you think has stolen your life? Now, this question would suit us a little better, I think, if we were like 20 years older. But it's quite a funny question, nevertheless, just to think, who perhaps do you think is out there living your life that you maybe you wanted or you want?
That's a rough one. I'm letting Sento go first.
Jesus. It's very... Wow. Who do I think... So the question is here, who do I think is living the life I would like to be living right now?
Yeah. Could be a fictional character, I don't know.
Can, bro. The thing is, I've not planned so ahead,
I said, do you know what? I said this to my girlfriend last night. I said I wrote it down on my notepad, which I would show you, but I can't see it. Oh, here it is. I wrote this question down on my notepad as soon as I heard it. And I said to her, I think this might be too deep a question. And
it is a very deep question, mate.
It's what you do is you drop an absolute bombshell.
Jesus, I cannot give an answer. So
maybe this should be the outro. Maybe this should be the outro, and we can leave the listeners to think.
So is the question what is the question? Is it who do I want to be?
Yeah, but I think the question suits people who are maybe slightly more middle-aged, maybe.
I don't get the question. Who stole my life?
Who do you think stole your life? For example, the woman who said it immediately answered on her own behalf and said, "Now, Sam, you might know. Oh, she's like a big black woman on TV. She's a presenter. Alison. She's got curly hair. No, bit of a
no idea.
Okay, never mind. Well, I think that's the outro sorted.
Jesus.
They need to be. They need to be. The intro questions need to be: what's your favourite cuisine? If you were to live in a movie, what do you live in? That's deep, man. That one's deep.
Yeah, that was too deep.
Like, bruh, like, mate, I'll leave that to Sento. You say, like, Jesus, like, I don't know what.
I know, man.
What the hell, man?